Alright, welcome back to another video. I thought I'd do one of progress on the longfin all red albinos, which also have some regular fin ones. And I did keep a lot of the, basically I kept all of them. I haven't sold any yet. Now these fish are almost a year old, so they're starting to crap out a little. The males go first, I guess. That's one of the longfin males, the longfin female, as is that one. And they're eating some live baby brine shrimp, which is what the cloudiness is in the water. There's also some regular fin ones in there, if I can find them. And they're in there somewhere. That might be one of them. So that's a younger one I put in so she can get hit by the males that are in the tank. Hopefully one of them will come close enough to actually see the male. But I will show some of the other ones next that I have in some of the other tanks. So I really love this strain. They're really fantastic. Man, they really color up nicely. Really can't say enough about them, other than they do eat their fry. And the other real problem is trying to determine when the females are going to drop the fry. They're not squaring off like all the other fish I've pretty much ever had, guppies. They just drop a few here and there, thin out or thin down, and then I gotta find them. So I've only been getting about 6 or 7 fry a couple of times a month. So I've built it up to about 5 tanks of them, and that's one of the regular fin males. Really stunning looking fish. So I know a lot of people don't like albinos because they're creepy, but I love them. I think they're really cool. So the females obviously have these gigantic pec fins, kind of like a gull wing type thing, I guess you'd say. Where do you find flying rabbits? The hair force. The hair force. Oh my God, that's awful. That's from that book. Thank you, Frank. I'm still telling bad jokes. Now I can blame somebody else. So, I do have, like I said, a few other tanks, and I have a young group I wanted to show because they're only 10 weeks old and they're already really coloring up nicely. They just haven't developed the fins as much yet. Now, the males get just like a high dorsal, I guess. It's not a parallelogram type dorsal, which is what the IFGA prefers. So if you showed fish like this in the red albino class, you'd lose points on the dorsal, because each you can check it out on their website what each thing gets, but the tail itself also should really be more of a longer tail with triangular, kind of like tips at the edges. Basically look like a triangle, be a delta tail, and these are not that. So the females, same thing, they get very big. You could enter them in the albino class, but once again, you'll lose some points for the dorsal, or you may not, because depending what the other fish in that class happen to look like, you might get clobbered. But nice fish, I really like them. I'll show some of the other ones next and be right back. All right, this will be part 2, and these are about 7 months old. There you go, you can see how beautiful they are. There's a mix of males and females, obviously, and it's the next tank of breeders I set up. And there's a mix of longfin females and shortfin females. I don't think I put any longfin males in this tank, because I just wanted to keep it at about 5 pair of fish in a 10-gallon tank. So the females are hit. I've already found a couple of fry in there. And things are progressing really well. So I haven't sold any. Looks like that one's got a little nip in the fin. Oh well. And I'll probably sell some once I get a lot more of them. I just don't have enough. But I'll tell you, the coloration on them, the intensity, and just the amount of color that they get, almost basically up to the eye. There's only a little bit like a stomach area, I guess, that doesn't have the red color, as you can see there on Mr. Split Fin over there. I guess somebody bit him. So, excellent fish. I'll tell you what, these were well worth it. They're very expensive for the trio, and I was able to turn the trio into quite a few. So I should be able to keep the line going. It's the nicest red albino line I've ever had. I believe they were called, I forget what he called them. Grade A intense albinos, whatever. I have no idea. Whatever, doesn't matter. They're just beautiful fish. They're all red albinos, and that's all that matters. So, what do snakes do after they fight? They hiss and make up. They hiss and make up. Which reminds me of a fantastic episode of Rick and Morty. You had snake jazz, some kind of a snake planet. Very cool. And Rick and Morty starts again, sometime in June, which is 2 days away. And the strangest thing is I actually had to put the house heater back on in Philadelphia, and got down into the mid-40s each of the last 2 nights, and is supposed to tonight as well. The high was like 50. It's been raining since like Friday. Just very bizarre weather for here. Usually by Memorial Day, which is tomorrow, it's hotter than blazes, and you got the air running. Very strange. But hey, I had no choice. It just annoyed me because the fish room got down to about 68, and the tanks were around 68, 69 degrees, and that was as far as I could push it. So, I'm sure the axolotls loved it, but not so much for the guppies and the cichlids and everybody else. So anyway, that's the next group of breeders. And yeah, I'll show some of the other ones next. The older ones that I had pulled out of that first tank you looked at. Hopefully, I can get them showing up better. Now, I did a little trick that was working in the past for albinos. It seems to confuse the iPhone, the amount of light, and it's really hard to see them. Obviously, you can see these guys really well, and that's because it's a deeper tank, and the water depth helps with the iPhone. Whatever the lens picks things up. And I'm thinking about getting the iPhone 12 Pro Max, but I might just wait for the iPhone 13 to come out. This one seems fine. Anyway, that's these guys, and see if I can stand up without dropping everything and falling over. Alright, these are some younger ones, and the dirty glass is working. You can actually see them. Now these are 3 months old, 3.5 actually, and looking great. So they're coloring up nicely like they should. And I don't think I put any long fins in this group. I think a long fin female right there. No, it's a male. Yeah, so there's one long fin male in there. So there's Mr. Useless. So people have asked if the long fins can impregnate a female when they're younger. There's your answer. That thing's not going to impregnate any fish. And the rest of them are regular fin males. So, as I've said before in another video, you could look up and find that the long fins, if you ever buy them from somebody, make sure you get a regular fin male as well. The long fin males look great, and I'll show you a close-up of some of them next. But you're not going to get anything out of the females unless they're hit before you buy the fish. So anyway, that's these guys. And the plant is a thin leaf water sprite. Same thing in here. Now these are some of the fish out of that first tank I showed. That's a longfin male. You can see his middle name is useless, but it's a beautiful fish. Now the females, the longfin females, have a bit of a mix of fry. They have some regular fin fry, and they have some of the longfin. So, see if I can get a close-up on these. Now there is a noticeable difference in the dorsal of the regular fin females. And I know I put one of them in here. I think that's this one. And if she extends that dorsal, you can see it's a different shape. Very, very large. Bigger than the other ones. It's bigger than the longfin female. Now I do get a few longfin females that get very big dorsal. And that dorsal is so long it's hanging over the body. Very cool. I really, obviously, like I said 6 times already, I really like these. Hopefully you do too. And there's the longfin guy. Look at that, he can move it, but that's about it. Alright, the brine shrimp are starting to really cloud up the water. So I think if I keep to the lower ones, you can actually get a better idea of what the fish look like. So anyway, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope everybody has a happy Memorial Day tomorrow that celebrates it. Thank goodness that we can celebrate it. It's been a weird year, preceded by another weird year. But at least it's a day off. Although for me, they're all days off because I'm retired. So there we go. That's the video. If you have any questions, you can put them in the comments, as I've said many times, or you can email me. I put the email address in the video description. And once again, you can get a look at those gigantic pec fins on the females. I don't think the males get as large a ones, since they have 2. And there we go. Alright, well, the dirty glass on the top of the tank really worked, because normally you wouldn't be able to see these fish at all. That's the problem with the albinos. And when I filmed the video in the deeper tanks, like the 10s or the 5.5s, you can see the fish, but they swim to the back. You really can't see them in close up. So anyway, all these females are hit, and that'll wrap it up. Appreciate you watching. Thank you very much, and enjoy your day off if you have one.